Listen, something massive just happened that nobody's talking about, and it changes everything for Pi Network. In March 2025, a leaked document from the Bank of Russia revealed that one of the world's most powerful nations is actively using Pi Network alongside Bitcoin and Ethereum to dodge international sanctions. Yes, the same Pi that everyone called worthless is now a strategic tool for a superpower. This isn't speculation or hype. This is documented proof that Pi has real-world utility at the highest levels of global finance. While you've been losing hope and watching YouTube videos decline, the biggest validation in Pi's history just happened, and I'm going to break down exactly what this means for your holdings and why the next few months could determine everything. Before we go deeper, you know what you need to do right now. Check out my Telegram and Facebook pages. Links are in the description below. I'm dropping exclusive, daily updates there that you won't find anywhere else. Now let's dive into this story that's shaking the crypto world. You know what that Russian document contained? It was titled, Framework for Alternative Settlement Mechanisms. Basically, a survival guide for moving money when the entire Western financial system is trying to block you. Russia wasn't just randomly picking cryptocurrencies. They had a specific strategy. Bitcoin for large oil deals, Ethereum for smart contracts, and Pi for something nobody expected. Small cross-border transactions using its massive global user base, The document specifically described using Pi to convert rubles into local currencies piece by piece through its community of over 50 million users, especially in countries like China and India, where banking is heavily monitored. Russia saw what most people missed. Pi's real power isn't competing with Bitcoin as digital gold. It's being digital cash for everyday people, moving value person to person across borders without banks watching every transaction, And here's the kicker. After the leak, Russia didn't deny anything. They actually doubled down and officially allowed select investors to buy and sell Pi, making it a state-approved financial asset. That's instant legitimacy that money can't buy, Suddenly, everyone who laughed at Pi had to take it seriously. You know what this leak proved? That Pi's concept works in the real world, not just in theory. For years, skeptics called it pointless, but a major nation-state just validated years of patient building. The crypto market went absolutely crazy. Social media exploded, old wallets got dusted off. Pioneers who kept mining through all the doubt suddenly felt vindicated, Bitcoin smashed through $100,000, as the world realized cryptocurrency wasn't just technology anymore, it was a tool of national power. But here's where it gets complicated. You know what else happened? The United States and Europe started paying attention too. The Trump administration went full pro-crypto, racing bills through Congress to make America the leader in digital assets. They're pushing dollar-backed stablecoins to keep control of global digital money. Meanwhile, rumors swirled that the US was secretly stockpiling Bitcoin as a strategic reserve, You know what this means for Pi? It's both the best and worst thing that could have happened. Being recognized by a superpower brings instant legitimacy, proves real-world value, and opens doors to partnerships and adoption. Pi carved out its own niche, not digital gold like Bitcoin or smart contracts like Ethereum, but digital cash for the masses in places where traditional banking is difficult or impossible, But here's the huge risk. If Pi is seen as Russia's tool, it could face American sanctions. It could be banned, restricted, blocked from exchanges, cut off from Western financial systems entirely. Pioneers in the US and Europe might suddenly hold an asset they can't legally use. Pi now walks a tightrope, embraced by one superpower, potentially targeted by another, You know what Pi really has to prove? That it's truly decentralized and neutral, a network built for everyone, not a weapon for any particular group or agenda. Right now, many people see Pi's future as dependent on how much control the core team is willing to let go of. True decentralization means power isn't concentrated in one corner, but shared across a community that believes in the same vision. Without that, it's just another centralized project with a different label. For Pi to earn real credibility, governance has to expand beyond the core team. Decision-making should involve the community, the pioneers who've kept the network alive through years of mining and patience. A transparent, inclusive system where votes, proposals, and feedback shape the network's direction would prove that Pi isn't just built for the people but by them. That's how you build a blockchain ecosystem that feels alive, not dictated. And here's the bigger picture. Pi needs to show it can't be controlled, censored, or shut down by any single government or institution. The world's watching to see if it can operate freely across borders, no matter who tries to interfere. That's the only path to real global trust. Once Pi proves that kind of resilience and neutrality, it'll stop being a target and start being a symbol of what decentralization was always meant to be. The leak forced the world to take Pi seriously in a way nothing else could have. If Pi can maintain stability, continue building technology, and expand real-world applications, it could become the go-to platform for global micropayments and remittances. But the risks are equally huge. Political backlash, sanctions, regulatory crackdowns from any direction. The next chapter will decide everything, whether Pi becomes a lasting force in global finance or fades into history as a bold but unfinished experiment. The world of digital currency is crowded, and only a few projects ever reach real-world adoption. For Pi, this is the moment where all the years of mining, patience, and waiting must translate into something tangible: utility, value, and trust. The transition from theory to impact is what separates legends from lost causes, and Pi's future depends on how it handles this defining phase. Look, I need to be honest with you. I've had my doubts about Pi, just like many others. There were days when I questioned whether all those daily taps were building towards something meaningful, or if we were just participants in a long social experiment with no clear end. But despite the uncertainty, there's still a sense of hope, a belief that maybe, just maybe, this project could change how people see money, community, and digital ownership. That's what keeps so many pioneers holding on, waiting for the day when Pi finally proves it was worth believing in. But this leak changes things, not in the fantasy way where Pi suddenly hits $100 overnight. Anyone promising that is lying, you know. What this proves is the concept behind Pi actually has real-world value. A major nation-state saw potential. That matters. Here's my concern though. Pi is now caught in geopolitics, and that's dangerous. Being useful to Russia might make Western governments suspicious. We could see regulations, restrictions, maybe sanctions. That's a real risk every pioneer needs to understand, you know. My advice: stay realistic. Watch how Pi's core team responds. Are they truly decentralizing governance, building real utility, engaging with regulators? These things determine long-term success, not hype or leaked documents. I believe in Pi's potential, but I'm also smart about it. Don't invest more than you can lose. Don't let FOMO drive decisions. Don't believe guaranteed riches promises. This is still developing with massive potential but also massive risks, you know. You know what separates winners from losers in crypto? Information and patience. Understanding what you're holding and staying steady through volatility. The Pi story might just be getting started, but how it ends depends on decisions being made right now by the core team, governments, and pioneers like us. So there you have it, the complete picture with real talk. Hit that like button, drop a comment telling me what you think about Pi's future, and subscribe with notifications on. Join my Telegram and Facebook in the description for daily updates and honest discussions about where Pi is heading, you know. Stay informed, stay realistic, and keep building. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.